Welcome to Day and Night News Prime Debate. Barack Obama's three-day India visit is over. During his stay, the American president did exactly what he was expected to do, business, and that too in the literal sense. President Obama's visit was to promote business between the two countries, to revive the crisis-hit US economy and create jobs for thousands of Americans. And for India, it was an opportunity to get US on its side and garner support against Pakistan and for a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. But now with Obama leaving, it's time to look back and see what lies ahead. Just on the eve of the US president landing in Mumbai, his Democratic Party received a drubbing in the elections. The mood was in a way set then that business, particularly American business interests, would dominate during the India trip. But the notion probably was misconstrued. As the visit proceeded, India witnessed an altogether new relation with America. It is now a meeting of equals.
American companies stand ready to support India's growing economy, the needs of your people, and your ability to defend this nation. And today's deals will lead to more than 50,000 jobs in the United States.
The agenda was clear. Obama had come to India to score a home run on the Indian pitch. Did he succeed? That can be left to him when he reaches back home in the US. But for now, let us dwell on what India got from the US president's visit. Obama inked business deals worth $10 billion with India. But on the political front, he was not clear this time too. Though the American president harped on wiping out terror, his earlier speeches at the 26/11 Memorial in Mumbai did not touch on Pakistan. But later in Delhi, Obama had to submit that Pakistan had a lot to do to dismantle terror outfits in that country.
And we will continue to insist to Pakistan's leaders that terrorist safe havens within their borders are unacceptable, and that terrorists behind the Mumbai attacks must be brought to justice.
The long-standing issue of a permanent berth at the United Nations Security Council also reverberated in his speech in the Parliament. But if one were to follow earlier instances, America has umpteen times supported the Indian cause but done little to carry it forward.
We welcome India as it prepares to take its seat on the United Nations Security Council.
All said and done, Obama's visit was very much in contrast to the earlier visits of US heads of state. This time, America spoke in the language of equals and not unequals. For now, Obama has left, and he has left India with promises and positive sound bites.
So thank you. And Jai Hind. And long live the partnership between India and the United States.
To discuss President Obama's India visit, we are joined in our studios by Air Vice Marshal HPS Sidhu, former Assistant Chief of Integrated Defence Staff MOD, IAS Chadha, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, SK Sharma, former member, National Security Advisory Board, Professor Akshay Kumar, Professor of English and Cultural Studies at the Punjab University in Chandigarh. We are also joined from Chandigarh by Satish Begrodia, former President, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome, gentlemen, to the discussion. Mr. Chadha, I'd like to start with you. The three-day visit of the US president passed off peacefully, and a lot has been written in the media. Do you think the visit was a success, or is it a lot of media hype about it?
Well, before I give a direct answer to that question, I wish to preface my remarks by saying that the success of this visit, or indeed of any venture, must be assessed in the light of our expectations from it. If our expectations are too high, we are bound to be disappointed, as some have been inclined to do. If they are too low, it could lead to unjustified euphoria. But if your expectations are realistic, then you can make a balanced assessment. Now, my own expectations were realistic, despite the fact that the expectations from Mr. Obama were abysmally low. for various reasons. Firstly, there was a tendency to compare him with George W. Bush and what he achieved. And in my view, that comparison was unjustified and wrong. Secondly, the positions he took before he became president gave the feeling that he was perhaps not as friendly towards India as George W. Bush was. And finally, in the interview he gave to PTI just before he landed here, he seemed to be pouring cold water on two of the most crucial issues on which we wanted to see progress made. And we thought that, my God, are we going to get anything at all out of this trip? Maybe that was a deliberate ploy to further lower our expectations so that when eventually the outcome is.
But in the final analysis, you think it was a success?
I would give an unqualified yes to that answer.
But Mr. Chadha, don't you think a lot of diplomatic issues or the issues which should have been discussed between two nations haven't really been discussed, and it's more of a business trip?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I think you yourself mentioned in your opening remarks that it was seen as a business trip, but then there was a build-up, and the whole thing was choreographed beautifully.
Right. Mr. Bagrodia, I'll come to you now. So, since the President started his visit from Mumbai, it was seen kind of an empathy for the 26/11 attacks. It is believed that Mumbai was also chosen as the prime purpose of the visit was business and commerce. To what extent was the visit a success in your opinion?
In my opinion, it was a totally win-win situation for both India and US. The highlights which appeared in the joint statement that ISRO, DRDO and Bharat Dynamics Limited, which have been taken out of the negative export list, and US will lift controls on exports of high technology products and high technologies.
But Mr. Bagrodia, to what extent was it beneficial to India? You know, we all know that business deals worth $10 billion US were signed. This would, as we all know, would create nearly 50,000 jobs in the US. But what about India? What is the benefit to India?
Yeah, I know. No, that's what I was mentioning, that all that export controls which were there for exporting high technology products and high-end technologies. Now with that, there will be a big boost to the defense production in India, and there will be increase in the downstream industries, and as per the 30% set-off clause, all this trade, $10 billion trade, against this $10 billion trade, almost 3 billion trade benefit will come to the country.
Right, Mr. Bagrodia, I'll come back to you in a little while. Air Marshal Sidhu, now I want to come to you. We all know that India has agreed to purchase 10 C-17 cargo planes, and I think some more purchases are on the cards. So do you think this will give us a kind of a capability which we did not have all this while?
Really, if you permit me, to my mind, this C-17 deal is a smaller issue.
Yes.
The larger issue was Obama identifying India as a global power, not an emerging power. I'm not sure if we are a global power. We have the capability or not in social issues and economy, which is growing, no doubt, certainly in defense areas. Our national power really isn't of that order. We always looked at national security as defending the borders, but are we capable of projecting power? Are we capable of intervention even in the theaters of the Indian Ocean Maritime region? He wants us to focus in the Near East or the Far East, and really seaward isn't said, but it's a matter of concern to US and us, and therefore they are ready to take some of our defense manufacturing capabilities off the entities list and provide us with such strategic capabilities, and C-17 is one of them. Now by itself, C-17 deal probably was agreed to a month or two earlier.
Yes, right.
It was definitely announced
for
here
announced
for
now.
the domestic constituency, 22,000 jobs, and $6 billion seems too large, but really in the overall partnership, that's what is important.
Right. Professor Sharma, let me get you into the discussion. US has decided to lift controls on the export of high technology items. Technology denial against DRDO and ISRO have been removed. But what about the Department of Atomic Energy? They still remain on the entity list, no?
I feel that what has been done in this visit is equal to what has happened in Bush's. You see, there we have been given a regime where we could import the nuclear energy. There were 4 denial regimes. One was in national, you see this nuclear supplier
right.
group. Then we have the missile technology control regime. Then we have the Australia group.
Yes.
They were for chemical and biochemical. Then we had this Westnar group, which is for any particular technology. You see, if these have been there, we could not have imported any technology. For example,
so some of these controls are now going away.
Yeah, that is it, and we have to become the member, and he has promised that he will ensure. You see, otherwise what happens is that even for our agriculture, chemicals, advanced chemicals, there is a control because these could be used for nerve gases, etc. The latest chip technology denied to us, our space program. So this, I think, there is a $1 trillion, you could say, trade on these dual technologies. And without these, I don't think
so
that
it's a tremendous positive.
It is tremendous. I think
yes,
you
want to say something? I want to make a couple of comments. Firstly, on the point about India being a global power or not. I think here is an opening provided to us. Before Obama, there was a lot of hesitation to recognize India's role anywhere beyond South Asia. But now it has been clearly stated that India has a role in South Asia, it has a role in East Asia, it has a role on the world stage. So our partner is ready to provide us with an opportunity to play that role.
So in a way, India gets a seat on the global high table.
We have got it. It is up to us now to make use of it.
Professor Akshay Kumar, let me ask you, how do you term the visit a success? Because obviously the Congress is tom-toying about it. The BJP is somewhat ambivalent. The left is critical. What is your take?
See, a visit is not a cataclysmic event. I mean, visit is to be seen as a process. Now, we must reflect and let the visit, the hype, subside. Normally, whenever an American president comes, there is a lot of media hype. Obama has a capacity to mesmerize. He has got eloquence. But if you look things with bit of maturity and with bit of reflection, I think nothing substantial comes out of it. One, that if he announces that he wants to see India as a permanent member of UN Council, Security Council, but that is not a categorical statement. Also, the entire attitude was attitude of patronizing, that as though he is making concessions to India. I think the entire visit is to be seen in strategic terms, that now India has grown as a major global player, and since China is emerging as a rival to US, I think this is US's compulsion